Welcome everyone to the Velvet Bite. I'm your host, Melissa Dawn, and we will be live with you in just a few moments. In the meantime, while you're waiting for me to appear, if you would be a sweetheart and support this show and go and subscribe, thumbs up, share, add it to a playlist, that would be brilliant. Also, don't forget to support me by subscribing on the Substack. That is melissadawnharris.substack.com, and you can go to the website melissadawnharris.com for all links to all platforms. We will see you in just a few moments. All right, guys, here we are. Just a bunch of wild and crazy guys on a Tuesday night at Velvet Bite. The Order of Velvet Bite, I'm calling it. I'm making fun of, like, the Lemic stuff and shit, by the way, when I do that. I really don't want people to follow me, but before I get into
the
us
OVB,
talking...
the
OVB. You down with OVB? Before I get into it, please support the show by giving it a thumbs up, of course, adding it to your playlist, and subscribing on the Substack. If you want to support me there, it is melissadawnharris.substack.com. And of course, be sure to subscribe to Jerry's channel. And Niish is at the Cosmic Salon, so please support my guests. And here we are. It's the Halloween week, and shit is batshit. What's going on, you guys? Are you muted? I couldn't hear anything.
I am muted. I'm sorry. Everything and nothing is going on.
Everything all at once.
Everything all at once. And nothing at the same time when nothing ever happens. It's amazing. It's like we're moving at light speed towards nothing.
That's right. No, go ahead, Niish. Sorry.
It is very interesting out. As Alice says, curiouser and curiouser. And, it's kind of like watch your ass, but keep your ass out of the way.
Keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, keep it out of the way and then watch it while it's out of the way, because you never know what's going to pop up.
Oh my God.
You have an interesting show out though, Niish, on Cosmic Salon. I just want to give a call out for that this week. You just released it today. I haven't finished it yet, but you guys got to go check it out. It's about witchcraft and it's the week of Halloween.
Sam Hain.
My little Halloween show.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, we're talking about Wicca and all that stuff. And it's a great chat. Mannon's really a true gentleman. And then I just recorded with Travis McHenry on his new tarot deck, the Lilith Tarot. And so we get into all that and all the good stuff. He has so many amazing tarot decks. I have 3. This will be the 3rd. But, I mean, you just have to get into all that goodness.
Did you ever have Peter Mark Adams on your show?
No, and I wanted him, I think.
Yeah, we all did.
We tried to, Jerry.
We did.
Yeah, I think I never tried past you and I trying. And I think we had problems because it was Nox Mente and people and...
Yes. Yeah, like we wanted to get What's-Her-Face and Peter Gray.
Alkistis and Peter.
Yes, and they declined. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because they thought, we could have gone, when we did go everywhere with Nox Mente, it didn't need to be someone's personal dreams. It could just be dreams.
Right. I know.
But some people
take them personally.
Yeah, and they're superstitious. And, we could, I don't hold that against anyone.
No.
But it would have been nice to have had these people on to talk about the nature of dreams.
Well, did you guys hear, like, I don't want to go too depressing in Charlie Kirk, but I'm really amazed that Candace Owens is talking about her dreams and Charlie visiting her dreams and telling her messages, and people are calling her nuts. And I'm like, fucking A, girl. Like, you just don't hear this shit. Excuse my language.
She's... What did I read today that was really funny about her? I don't remember. There was a tweet. I'm sorry. I screwed that one up. She said someone said something today like I never thought I'd see the day when Candace Owens was crazier than Alex Jones or something to that effect. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I'll try and find it.
I don't
She's
know.
had
I think.
quite a trajectory in her career.
That girl ain't right in the head.
What do you mean? She ain't right in the head. I disagree.
I know you do.
I disagree wholeheartedly. In fact, I mean, I would say if you ignore your dreams that are coming to you that prophetically, you're in trouble.
I wasn't referring to the dream thing. It was the whole, all the things that led up to the whole dream thing.
Hey, everybody has a different journey, man.
I know.
This is why I listen to everyone. Y'all know that, and I like to talk with everyone as much as possible, as long as it's friendly confines. And I think we're better off for casting a wide net into the collective. Personally, whether we agree or not, these, I don't know, it's no fun being in a vacuum. That's for sure.
No, and I think a lot of, well, okay, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but I think a lot of people have been in a vacuum in certain groups, whether they or whatever political stuff they are. And there's people who are going to stay in that vacuum, but I think there's people who are snapping out of it and going, hey, everything's all part of the system. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And this is where I stand. I mean, to me, the whole thing is some sort of a, a grand theatrical production. And, you know, I've gone on here on the show even about the different particulars of that. And I
All
still
the
feel,
world's a stage.
yeah, exactly. And the house always wins, and the winner tells the story. You know, all these kind of platitudes for what is the true. And for me, the Alice idea of curiouser and curiouser, is something that I actually hold near and dear, because I'm interested in how people are perceiving the same information, how it breaks down, the different templates in which we engage the world, and the things that actually overlap. One of the things that Jerry and I had at one time talked about was, you know, that overlap where people agree, where there is consensus. And this becomes more intriguing when you get to see the contrast of what people do not agree on. And I have found through my own, I guess, investigations of the world around me, that I have been really wrong about some things, at least in current context, and that's fine. And then I've also found myself with certain prejudices that I did not expect to have. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. I mean that in a, you know, you eat some food, you don't like it, so you don't eat it again. But I don't kick it off the table either. If it's we're at a buffet of life.
Right. It's like trial and error.
Yeah. And who
Niish,
knows?
just wanted to ask you if you have your Yeti on, because you've got a lot of static in the background.
So I did just record, and I'm letting it upload. So it's at 93%, and it's just for safety's sake, because I have technical problems a lot. So the audio will sound much better here very shortly.
Okay, no worries. Sounds good. I was just wondering.
It says 3 minutes.
Oh, good. And then I interrupted you and you were on a good run. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Girl, please. You know I can always get right back on the track.
Well, that's better than what I can do. Sometimes I'm like, well, the dog barked. Oh no, I'm done.
So any Halloween plans around here?
I am doing a Dark Shadow stream on Thursday night, everybody, at 9 p.m.
Ooh.
Eastern with Walter Bosley and Todd Wood, talking about Dark Shadows. And then on Friday, because I love the children, I'm just going to hand out candy, I guess.
Ooh, that's going to be fun. Are you going to be dressed as something when you hand it?
Um, on the stream, I've got a little cape, so I might just do cape gothy. I don't want to spend too much money or time on it, and I don't know if I'll wear it on Halloween. I'm not that way. I don't know if like you know how when I was younger, I used to be all about costumes and the horror movies, and I still like horror movies, but I think Halloween means something very different to me now, like ancestors and getting in touch with something from beyond and nature and cycles. It's just something very different now.
Yeah, I don't even like people to come up to my. I'm in the woods. So I mean, I'm in a city, but my house is surrounded by the woods, and I just prefer them not to come up. I don't want to deal with children, period. And it's the world we're in. I don't want any problems. And I have a dark, the trail's dark. I don't want anyone getting hurt.
Yeah, you don't want no
All
lawsuit.
Yeah, none of that. This world, the crazy world we're in. So I just think it's for me better to keep it dark and stay the hell away.
So are the demons out in full here? I think the demons are out in full. I don't know if it's because the veil is thin or it's just the algorithm and the system is insane, but
Depends on who you ask, right? I mean, there are people out there who say that the is my mic volume too low?
I can hear you.
You
My
sound
friends,
good on my end.
my friends tell
Just gotta
me
keep near your just gotta
it's
keep
too
near your
low.
mic.
You sound better than I do.
Well, that's always true.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding. You know, I'm kidding. No, what I was talking about was how people say that I've been hearing this for years, so I don't even know how true it is anymore. That the lower fourth dimension, the constructed fake astral, is merging with the third dimension and letting all those nasty things in here. And if that is true, then that would explain a lot of the behavior we're seeing lately, especially from certain groups of people.
Yeah. I did a podcast where I was talking about how religion had changed from the goddess culture to polytheism to monotheism, and how I didn't have a lot of faith that Christianity was going to lead us away from the New World Order, considering the whole element of it of worshiping one God is very New World Order to me in concept. And so I was just sort of like, oh, we're all looking for connection and connection to our family, and we've been spread apart everywhere and controlled by this system. And I just really wanted to make it about just being connected rather than worshiping some all-seeing God that says I'm going to go to hell, a created construct.
Yeah, it's a mind control device.
Yeah.
that I find that Abrahamic religions are for me very restrictive. I have enjoyed, and I do enjoy, getting into the deep kind of dark literature around them and the books and the jinn and all the stories, but living under it is definitely not for me at all. And uh, and yet I can agree with so many things some of them are saying. I do believe demons are real. I do believe in evil. I do believe there are dark forces. I also think a lot of times the God that is being presented is not the real, is a false God and is not the most high. And there's all these concepts. I believe in the feminine energies. The mother of God is a big deal to me. She who births the universe, she whose womb is the void from which all come. And the staff of lightning, the voice from the void, is part of how the manifestation of it all works. And this stuff separates me a lot from the Abrahamic, you know, lexicon. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I admire the Christ message. I admire Jesus Christ as a persona out there, and I happen to think that there was a Jesus. I know
Mhm.
a lot of people don't, and I know that's there's a lot of different voices on that, but I find his message comforting. I like that the stories of him being such a rebel and
Mhm.
his time in the desert is fascinating. So I am a lover of these stories. I'm just not a follower, as in worshiper of any
Yeah.
of them.
Well, the original concept of Jesus, and you can kind of hear that in the Gnostics, is something that, I don't mind to look at. It's just the hijacked version control system that, splits it up into a dynamic that Jesus never talked about. Like there was no Jesus telling us we were born with, you know, um, sin, and that we were gonna go to hell if we didn't go to the church and do exactly what they say all the time. You know, it just never, it just wasn't the main message of according to the Gnostics, anyways. But according to the Bible, it is.
That original sin thing is very interesting, isn't it? I
Hmm.
mean, uh, how can you win? You're born a sinner. Like, talk
Yeah,
about the house always wins. Like, right out the gate,
yeah,
you've got problems.
yeah. You're just innocent little baby. You've been born. It's like, sorry, you're sin right from the get go.
Well, so Melissa, what do you think about this big move towards? There seems to be. I think it's slowed down a bit, but there's a big movement towards like there's a Christian revival going on, and it seems to be very more geared towards pretty orthodox too. What do you think
Hmm.
about that?
So yeah, the stats show that like Catholicism's going down, but Orthodox going up. And what I mean, I don't know, because I think wherever we go, there they are, and I expect that just like the system right now is infiltrating the evangelists and TPUSA, I imagine they'll try to infiltrate that and convert that narrative too. I just don't have a lot of hope after everything I've seen all my life that it's going to help. I think it will probably help people on an individual basis connect more and be family orientated, hopefully. But I don't doubt that. I mean, it's still, I mean, going to be used to control it. It just doesn't seem to matter. I'm maybe I'm just really independent and I just don't like those kind of systems. I feel uncomfortable in churches and organized, and I mean, I live amongst Mormons and that makes me uncomfortable. So it could just be me, but I just don't have a lot of faith that we in this physical world we escape that system at all. I think you have to go somewhere else. Hint hint.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to consider, and for me, this is such a personal journey, and all of it's very particular to my own path and my experience with the Most High. And I've never felt that I needed gatekeepers or I feel like I'm on the journey, and the journey is informing me. And the journey is also informing me about what's good, what's bad. You touch fire, it's hot. Okay, well, I just learned that. And on deeper levels, I've had two fires. I've learned how attachments through fire will, no matter how much you love something or history, family photos, antiques from the family heritage, they, in the end, are just baubles. And the fire teaches you this too, but the fire keeps us warm, the fire feeds us, etc. I don't know that you learn these lessons at the same depth by someone else telling you that. Everyone told me fire was hot when I was little, stay away from it, and I still had to burn myself. And with attachments, for example, as well, you always hear about you've got to let go of attachments to attain any sense of wisdom or ascension in self, not through a religion. And I would not have learned the greater lesson there had I not been through a couple big, massive fires. And
Mm.
regret, I wish I hadn't. That's a lesson I guess that was a safe way to learn it, but still, I do love my things. And when the time comes, I will be able to walk on. So now I know that no matter what, we are basically nude in the journey, and the patina of attachments is something that we contract with. But I don't feel it's important for me to need guardians in this, because I find that nature is a harsh teacher, the elements are harsh. um, the dark night of the soul is harsh, hence, astrology can come in there with like Saturn return or hard angles in the chart. Self hatred, self loathing, these are things you have to work out. And for me, it always became more enriching to find myself saving myself rather than resigning to someone else trying to save me, child. And so,
Well, because you never know what their intentions are.
and
They
that's
they
and
might
that's
not have the good intention for you.
and that's the thing. It for me, it seems like I've always learned that there seems to be strings attached. There's always like a tether. And whether it's intentional or not, there always seems to be a tether. And that is the thing I'm cautious of. And so I'd rather just be empowered in self. And if I do need help, I know how to ask for help. If I need guidance, I know how to ask for guidance, if it's the Most
Mhm.
High or if I'm in studying, in some sort of scholarly mode, and I'm stuck on, well, what's the nuance of this? Can somebody explain this in context to, where it exists?
You know,
And that's how I take religion.
you could look at that tether as karma.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of templates we could
Hmm.
apply to it, not just
Just
karma.
materialism, karma, whatever.
Yeah. So, but again, I think I want the experiential process. Who taught Jesus? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's
Well,
he had to go on
I
that journey.
I don't think I mind having like a structure, some rules, some things to go by. It just I don't want it to be a government that doesn't give a shit about me. That just thinks of me as a number and something to siphon energy from and leave with as little as possible. I want guidance from somebody who is like real wisdom, like you used to have with I don't know, a family member. You would have lived in the same area for generations and generations, and it would have been
Village
that
elder
you.
of sorts.
Yeah, or like the information I get from my grandmother is
You're
totally
starting to
different than
sound
the
like a
information
communist.
that some system. Well, I don't
I'm
think
kidding. I
that,
was kidding.
it has to it's about, that I give everything to the group, but I mean, you want somebody that, and communists don't give it
No,
who
I know.
about you either, right?
I know. It
But
was a joke.
yeah, but I know if my grandmother gives me intuition and I have my higher self, I know that they're steering me. It's not some corporations like, hey, come and join our group and we'll love bomb you and we'll make you think you're amazing, and then we'll psychologically manipulate, abuse you, and use you and leave you as a zombie shell.
And so I agree with all that, Melissa. And Jerry, I agree with the village elder or the elder. I've always loved our elders. This is tangible. Your grandmother's an elder. And, hopefully these relationships aren't at a twist and they're not totally indoctrinated. But I have always sat at the feet of elders and listened to them talk about their stories. And I prefer to get their stories through them just talking about their lives rather than trying to teach me. This time I did this time I did that, and just reminiscing. I've always enjoyed hearing people talk to each other in that mode rather than in teacher mode. Uh, I don't know. I find like the most truth comes there.
Like
And
orality almost.
it is. And then I believe truly in my soul of soul, my spirit, whatever it is, that nature cannot be beat. Nature is for me the grand teacher of everything. It's all there. All the dark, all the light, all the creepy crawlies, all the beautiful fluffy things, all the good smells, all the bad smells, the treachery, the glory, it's all there if you're looking with eyes to see.
Yeah. And I guess it is kind of like a sort of, what was it? I hear all these crazy theories, like like we're like in a video game, or it's game player rules and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe it is. You're just leveling up and you're navigating through and remembering what's good and what's bad and what works. And it's vibration too. Like it's energy. It's all, there's something beyond physical stuff and how you sense it out.
And this is also the beauty of old books too, and reading the classics and all that. We can get this wisdom, and this includes the Bible and all that. I just
Mhm.
don't feel I need a preacher coming at me, and I definitely don't feel I need to leave money on the pot. Pay to play, and all this stuff that's just gotten so twisted that just doesn't feel right. And it's like going to, and I'm not begrudging this, I'm just saying there's something I think that seems very hookerish about some of this. And like going to a counselor and you're pouring your guts out, you're trying to get through whatever it is, and then right in the middle of something, are you're
Mhm.
it's time, it's time.
Oh,
And it just
time's
feels,
money.
yeah, it just feels cheap. And it, to me, that does not inspire me to want to open up further when it's coming down to this quality. And I do not
Well,
want to begrudge people who do that work. It's it's one of those things that we used to be able to do in small communities where you did have the old elders and the wise ones, and they had time for you, and you could go and talk, and at any level, and they would listen, and they weren't necessarily telling you what to do, what best practices are. They're just listening, and they're applying some sort of narrative, like in a parable or something, that you may or may not get something from. And this is the thing on the journey. We do need to be heard. We need to be seen. I feel that um, at certain points in our lives, some of us more than others, but it feels weaponized. And most of the churchian world around us feels as cold as the government to me.
well, they're all corporations. I mean, they're all the new god ever since, well, probably before monotheism, but ever since we start war and fighting for land, the god is always money and stuff. The main god, especially of a monotheistic culture. I mean, they're giving kudos to Jesus and God, but we know it's all about money.
It feels, that's what I'm saying, it feels so cheap. And I don't know. It's like leave the money on the stand. And I guess if you're if that's what you need and that works out for you, that's fine too. I think we should be able to understand our needs, and see where they can be met and how they can be met. But it's important to kind of understand them in a way that you don't get sucked into like the Moonies or something. And that's the
Mhm.
problem. When you're down and out, so often it feels like it's in the middle of the night. There's no one to call. Everyone's asleep. And, there's I don't know. I think there's some sort of, I'm going to just use modern vernacular here, but I think there's some sort of algorithm behind that, some magical algorithm. Well, why is it always in the wee hours when there's really no one around? And you have to kind of work through the hardships. I think that's important. I think it is important for us to work through the hardships. And looking at stories of like the Great Depression or the financial collapse in the 20s, where people are throwing themselves, if this is even true, off buildings and all this over money, and
Mhm.
how much of a grasp, how much of the world is based on that. And this is also part of why it feels so slave like in this experience we're having. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you're not born into sin, you're born into debt. Jesus.
Well, yeah, and it's stacked. Everyone's like, just pull up your bootstraps. And I mean, I think that's a great idea to pull up your bootstraps and project the best you want. But it gets harder to do that the more you realize that it's a stacked deck. And you can only pull the bootstraps up so hard before you die of exhaustion.
And then what, and then what?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's this cheap nature. Everything feels kind of, I don't know, cheap.
Well, especially here in the United States when everything it seems like everything and Canada. And it just feels like everything's made to deteriorate. So you go over to Europe and they've got buildings that are thousands of years old. And there seems like they have a sense, maybe a little bit stronger, that things last and that they're connected to something. Where I think our system is made this way to have us forever in poverty and forever buying stuff and forever, you know, feeling like nothing lasts and nothing's forever and it's gone.
And this is the thing, and I think Jerry, you could chime in on this. Here I go. um, everyone wants to hate capitalism and stuff, but I do believe in having your time be worth something, and that I'm definitely not into communism. So it feels like we should have some sort of value for value system if we're going to have social anything. There should be value for value, and we should be allowed to pick and choose and all that. And it feels to me like somehow that is so misconstrued, this idea, and the ways in which it plays out. Jerry?
Yeah, I think one of the bigger issues around capitalism is the debt-based structure of it. It's so easy to get credit and to buy shit on credit that people just consumerism has run rampant. If we didn't have this horrible debt-based system, people would value their money and we would have more of a value I think that would bring us closer to a value for value um, system, because you're not spending fake money. It's you earned it,
Yeah.
it's in your hand. You have to spend that to get whatever you want. It's not like a swipe of the credit card. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I
So
have
I
this
don't.
experience like with my son. I
Mm-hmm.
used to always take him nature walks. Even when he was older, I try to go to the beach and light a candle and just connect. And he's more like, no, I want to be with my dad with all the people and the money and the sports car and stuff now because he's young. And I always feel like I try to connect with him and do those things doesn't involve money. And it just didn't matter what I did. The system, his dad, because he's another male, it was just more enticing and he had fun with that and that was cooler and I'm not cool. And I was like, okay, well, I tried to be that mom who took you in the woods and took you on exercise and sat on the beach. Like I would put all these candles and light them on the beach in the sand and we just sit there and watch like at night and have a hot dog and something affordable like when I was a kid. And he was like, what the hell is this? I was like, I'm done. I'm lost. I mean, I used to love to just sit there for hours and just talk to my grandma and look at her pictures. That's what I would do. I didn't have and everything's so different now.
But you're a girl.
I know I'm a girl, but
You
don't
should sit down and
guys don't like.
play video games with them.
Well, I tried that, and I went on the thing. I went into the system, and I sucked so bad his friends kicked me out.
I get that.
They literally, can you kick your mom out? She's like, I even thought of starting a Twitch channel where it's like, I'm an old mom and I suck at video games. Come and laugh at me, but I didn't.
Twitch is having issues right now.
Really, we're on Twitch. We're live on your YouTube, my YouTube, guys. Zoom, not Zoom.
X.
Rumble, Twitch, and we are on Substack. We are not live on X.
Why
I
not?
shut X down.
Oh really? Oh, that's right, you did.
They're insane. It's insane there. It's nuts. It's every time I go there, I get angry and want to stab people.
X
And I'm like,
out.
you need to get out.
Those are those demons we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm not on anything. Meredith is, so like the Cosmic Salon is, but I'm not. I don't run any of that. The only thing I am on, I guess, is Instagram, but I'm not there very long. I hadn't even signed in 2 months until this week.
My main focus is right now, everybody, is this YouTube channel and Substack. So of course, the YouTube channel you can subscribe to, Melissa Dawn Harris, or the Order of Velvet Bite, OVB, or of course the Substack, Melissa Dawn Harris. I'm
So
trying to build that up.
wait, let's talk Twitch for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever the hell it's called. What I don't fully understand what it is. What's the concept?
It's a live streaming platform, and people live stream gaming, and then
It's mostly gaming.
It's mostly gaming, but there have been some people have turned into political commentators and have built a huge audience, like Hassan. Like Hassan, who's Cenk Uyghur's
The dog beater,
nephew.
the guy who
Yes, the dog
shocked
shocker.
his dog like a psycho.
Shocker.
Jerry.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm always gonna laugh at that stuff.
I know. So anyway, he's like a rabid leftist, socialist, communist, whatever. He's really far left, and he's always preaching about tolerance and all that shit. And he got caught pretty much shocking his dog, allegedly, on stream. He has this like real expensive dog that sits behind him all stream and doesn't move. And the minute he moves, he yells at it to lay back down. So he keeps his dog. I don't watch the guy. I don't know. This is just from clips I've seen, and looks like he shocked his dog with a shock collar. Which,
it looked like he was pressing a button and the dog literally yelped.
I honestly don't have a problem with that, because I know that's how people train dogs. They sell those things for a reason. So I mean, if you're gonna
but you can't, if you're gonna stream for 10 hours a day like a psycho and expect your dog to sit there, that's inhumane.
Agreed. I agree with that. But I mean, shocking the dog itself was not a big deal.
Like,
He's
I've
training
got 3 dogs here. I got 3 dogs here right now. And I don't make them that you'll see them. They'll come in the background and roll and Gucci goo, but I let them walk around and do their own thing. They're a live
anyway,
creature.
then he came out and he lied. He said, "Oh, it's a vibrating collar," and it looked pretty clear that the prongs had been cut off and it was covered with electrical tape, so it was it was black, and even the I believe it was a manufacturer of the device said, "Oh yeah, that's the shock collar," like in a letter.
He just, you know what? He's just a shallow person, anyways. I'm so sad that people watch these guys, young men.
He's whatever. I couldn't watch him. And then aside from that, so that's one thing. And of course, he gets Twitch. He obviously brings in a lot of revenue for Twitch, so they don't really discipline him for his or care. I mean, he's openly called for killing people on his stream many times.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The other thing that happened was TwitchCon last weekend, 2 weeks ago. I don't remember when it was. Well, last week, I think. And this other popular female streamer was accosted by a gentleman, I heard use that term loosely, who came up and kissed her. Like grabbed her face and kissed her. And the security detail missed it and came out late and escorted him out. So there's a big brouhaha around that.
That sounds old school Italian.
No, it was downright creepy is what it was. It does sound like it, but it's not the 50s anymore. And she was
did he go right by the lips and all that?
I couldn't see. It was far away. But she was like doing something to the group and did it. It wasn't like he was standing around talking to her and did it. You know what I mean? He ran up to she was accosted.
He just he just ran in there and
yeah. Twitch.
I don't know why. I'm curious why people do those things anyway. The cons, like you'd never catch me doing that, especially in this climate where everyone just, it seems like you're opening yourself up to potentials that are, um, I mean, if you have any kind of an opinion, and I've got hard opinions on, say, Muslims and stuff, there's no, I don't cut any slack there. I'm very, very precise with those opinions. As airy fairy as people can say I talk, and word salady as people say I talk, I don't mince my words about the trans agenda. I don't mince my words about Islam and all this other stuff. And just to make that clear, I separate the agendas from the people. I don't care what anyone says about that either. Um, so it just feels like it would be an open territory on allowing people to get into your personal space and maybe not be so friendly.
Yeah, and
There's
I have
a lot of energy
go ahead.
vampires in that crowd too.
I have a mantra about, and I say this all the time on my show. I tell people, look, don't wear these people's logos. Don't wear their logos. Political party, whatever. It's a sigil. It's charged. It's like your cow. I say, don't give them your money, and do not go to their major events, because you will lose your independence and your mind. You will become part of whatever's going on there. It's just human nature and neuroscience. Like, don't do those three things, at least. Please, gosh, don't do those three things, people. That's my mantra for everybody.
It just feels, and especially right now, though, the energies are so charged, and a lot of people aren't in a compassionate mode or listening, and this, and everyone, in my observation, is get it said in 3 minutes, get to the point. I just, I didn't grow up in that. I actually, I grew up in, thank God, in in a space where I was around a lot of intellectuals that would get around and talk for hours about ideas and potentials, and have a good time. There's usually marijuana going around, and
Heavens, you say?
it was, some and it was always just so wonderful to, and so many people would not see eye to eye, but it was still like such a good time. And it feels like that's almost impossible now. Everyone's so charged, and it's got to be fast, and no kind of space to even think before you say your next word. I encounter lots of people that are frustrated if there's a second of airtime. It's just like, we're not robots. And if you're going to consider a thought, we should be allowed to. But then, I don't know. I mean, I'm still around that. I created that with the Cosmic Salon. And I feel, good about that. People like long form interviews or chats. They can read, they can write, they can do arithmetic. They're usually creative people. So I have great encounters, but in the open world, I find myself in just like being shocked by how, I don't know, distant and curt everything is.
Is your
Yeah.
download done yet?
Hold on, let me look.
Because you still got the shitty audio.
I know it's because of this old ass computer is trying.
I'm telling you, you got the wrong mic picked.
It's
I gotta get a new system eventually too, but I'm gonna run this baby. I've had this Mac for 10 years and it's still going strong, so I'm gonna run it till the end of time. If I can.
mine 10 years old too. I did just get a whole new studio set up, but I don't have my. Um, I have that in the another space, and
Gotcha. So you're
it's
not
not
on your
fully set
Yeti.
up.
I
Yeah,
got you.
so I'm on the broke down. This is a broke down
So using
experience.
a laptop mic or a headphone mic. All good. All good. It's all good. I was worried your Yeti was broken.
No, I
So
actually gave that away a long time ago. I have a really nice condensed mic.
Well, aren't you
I
fancy?
I want to
I don't know that
kind
it's
of
fancy. It's not
switch
yet.
the energy here and play a little clip from Dean Radding because I know Jerry was mentioning this. So let's we can kind of bounce off of
A little background on Raiden before you start that. He has been for a long time trying to find the intersection between magic with K and science.
yes.
And who is
and
this
he has
again?
some
Dean
Dean
Raiden.
Raddin. He has some great books out there.
Yes.
You know, I'll say one thing before I play this is he tests his like psi stuff and psychic abilities, and however they do it, I can't remember, but he was saying that it was going off the charts just before 9/11. That you could see that everybody was picking up on something even before it happened.
See,
Like
that confirms my theory.
yeah. Here, let's listen to
Go
Dean.
ahead.
He's talking about random systems that should be random not being so random anymore.
It should be random are no longer behaving randomly. So that's about 50 years worth of study. Then in the 1990s, Roger Nelson at Princeton got the idea that maybe intention was only a piece of the puzzle and maybe attention was also important. That the act of attending, which when we think of internally, attending is a kind of coherent mental state. You're focusing in on one thing. And if we can think of that as not simply being in your head, but being out there as well, then when you attend to something, it changes. And it changes in the direction of coherence. So if the target of your attention is randomness, then a cohered random system is, by definition, more orderly, becomes ordered. And so you can detect that order through statistics easily. So he started doing experiments where he'd take a random number generator, an electronic circuit, and put it in the vicinity of a group that was meditating, thinking that this would create a large amount of coherent attention. Sometimes people knew the random generator was there, and sometimes they didn't know. And he wanted to see whether the randomness would become orderly during the meditation. And after hundreds of such tests by Roger and me and a bunch of our colleagues, we came to the conclusion that it does become less random in a context where we can infer that there's mental coherence going on, sometimes due only to attention. So I think it was 1994, I did an experiment before, during, and after the announcement of the O.J. Simpson verdict in his murder trial. And this was a unique period in history in that it was the first time that I'm aware of, in modern time anyway, first time where there's actually one other I can think of, which was landing on the moon, but a first instance where hundreds of millions of people around the world knew that something interesting was going to happen at a stroke of a couple of seconds in the future. It was a reading of a verdict which would either say guilty or not guilty. And so imagine the amount of attention that's slowly focusing up to that moment. I figured this would make a great experiment because I could have a whole bunch of random number generators going, and we can look in time sequence what is happening to the randomness as we approach the moment of announcement of the verdict, where we have maybe 1 billion people paying attention to it. So I did that. I had 5 random number generators going, 4 in the US and 1 in Europe, and tracked what was happening to the randomness as we got closer and closer to the verdict and the verdict being read and afterwards. And we found very clear evidence that there was a sudden peak in order in the random generators within seconds of the verdict being read. And of course, it was being read live and carried around the world on radio and television all over the place. So it was a live event worldwide.
Yeah. That just shows you a lot about media.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. It's always kind of, well, you're going to play the other one too?
The other one?
The psychic one?
This guy reminds me a lot of, so I'm loving this, and it brings to mind John C. Lilly and some of his work. Am I seeing that correct? Am I hearing this correctly? Are y'all seeing a thread between the two?
I don't know who that person is.
John C. Lilly?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Not familiar with his work.
I know you are. You're just not pulling up.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. The Echo, he does Echo, and Jerry, I know you're familiar with them.
Maybe.
I'll pull up something, but
Okay.
play this next one, please.
Do you have the other one? Did I send you,
I
Melissa?
don't. Where did you send it? Oh, I don't have it. Can you send it to me in the chat?
Aspect of the world. So he did an experiment. He said, well, what if we had people who are expert intenders? And I'm talking about, in one case, a Mongolian shaman that we knew, in another case, a Buddhist monk. We asked them to take little pieces of dark gourmet chocolate, little pastilles, and then separate it into two batches. One batch they would imprint with their intention, that anybody who ate this would have an improvement in their mood. And then we had the identical pieces, pastilles, that were not intended. Then we did a double-blind experiment. You tell them over the course of the next week, 2 days of the week, at 10 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you must eat a certain number of these pastilles. And at the end of the day, you record your mood using a standardized mood reportings questionnaire. So we did that experiment, and the end result showed that there was a statistically significant difference for the people getting the treated chocolate in the direction that we predicted. They had better mood under double-blind conditions. Influence some aspect.
Okay, I find that really interesting because that shows you how they can manipulate behavior. And
Yeah, but you can also so I mean, you can program, if you will, your food the same way. You can program your water the same way by setting an intention into it, by sending it a message. You know, what do you think praying over your food does? It's the exact same
yeah,
thing.
I understand that, but it's like if they know these concepts where that that you're going to get it improves your mood, they can also be like, hey, what if we want them to go crazy? We can take away their SNAP benefits. We can do this stuff and actually do the reverse because we want destruction, and we can mass make them go psychotic, and they won't even understand what's going on.
Right. Well, yeah, I know.
That's what I was kind of getting at that.
No, I understand. You're absolutely right. It's the fact that there are people who understand how consciousness works better than the masses allows them to have an upper hand and to program the masses.
Yes, absolutely.
And that I mean, this goes back forever, but I think the most recent revelation of this, I would go back to like Bernays,
Yes.
right? With how he got women to start smoking in public, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was all.
Cool. It looks good.
Yeah, right. It was programming, but these are two different things. I mean, programming people is easy if they're not aware, but setting an intention in a physical object and then giving that out or consuming it has other effects which are different.
It's true, but you can see, like, I can just see how they're like, oh, most people aren't aware of this stuff. We can really play. We can play some games. Just like Niish, you were talking about the, stay at home next week because of the SNAP benefits and the government shutdown. There's just so many things they can do to F with us. That's why I don't want to rely on them.
Well, this whole situation is, I mean, I don't know, broad stroke here, but seems like a setup to get a certain, an ends to a means to an end. And it looks completely Hegelian to me. And and no matter how you feel about welfare and benefits, because I'm offended by people making a lifestyle of it. I think the original intent was to help people, it's like crutches, and people that make a living, and all these videos where feed my kids, so the rest of us have to pay taxes to feed your fucking kids. I'm offended by that in such a deep way that I don't like the system anyway, but that's even worse, like a lifestyle of it. And I'm hardline on that too. And so now you see all these thousands of videos where they're just, you owe it to feed my kids. Who's going to feed my kids? And they're like 6, 10 kids. And and now they're saying on the stupid talk, they're getting together and they're talking really crazy stuff, and they're going to go crazy. They go crazy anyway. And for me, there seems to be something of a lower functioning with people that make this a lifestyle. and and so they're, what I mean by that, it's not looking down my nose, is they're functioning at more base levels. So they're more likely to get violent if that's a potential. And they're orchestrating, talking about taking what they need. They're going to take what they need.
Yeah.
Their families are
Yeah.
starving,
Well,
etc.
TikTok cultivates that mob mentality online.
And
For
Well,
of
one.
and
course, there's all the
just think about
counter
it.
stuff. But
If
next
you
week,
have, I was
carry on.
just to say, if you have generations of people who are on food stamps and welfare, they haven't developed the skill set to actually make money. They only know how to receive stuff from the government. They don't have a skill set to go get a job and make money and function. And you
Well, I
haven't taught your
wonder.
kids that either.
I just wonder. I don't think that they're making a connection that it's other working Americans that are the money of the,
Yeah.
the way the system was supposed to work, at least. And that, so they're expecting society as a whole to take care of them indefinitely, and I don't think that's very fair. It's like in
No.
the town I live in, the homeowners were the ones taxed, and everyone else living here is not taxed, but they get to use all the amenities, and they're the ones effing everything up. And
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. I really do, because the taxes are outrageous where I live, and now they're moving in all these people that have no respect for anything, because it's all at their access, it's all free, and then they're pushing our taxes up further to take care of all the vandalism and all the other stuff. And it's this mooch thing, it's this nanny state thing, it's this um, mentality that really, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. And if you've looked at the graphs of where a lot of the money is actually going, there are actual graphs, people. I don't know, I mean, we could argue if they're real or not, but they're coming out from these official sites, whatever that is. And the majority of our taxes anyway at this point are going towards people that have come in here and are not actually American citizens. And
Yes.
I just don't care how you feel. Like, why should citizens pay for all these other services when they can't? Man, I mean, I'm sure you've all heard the argument. It's just frustrating.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you get put
Well,
in like this camp of you're a Nazi or you're racist. I'm so sick of
You're a
these.
homophobe.
A homophobe, all of it. I'm
no.
so
You
sick of all
you
this
want
anyway.
children to die and starve to death.
Hey, just you know what, you got to just own it. That's all. Just don't. Yeah, I am. Okay, move on. If you're upset by it, it's a psychic attack, basically. But I
So
wanted to
James
bring up a point
James
of,
Nell just said, I'm just going to answer this. Aren't most homeowners paying rent, which goes towards property taxes through the landlord? That
yes.
is, if you have a job and you're doing that's fine, but a lot of these people are on welfare, so the taxpayers are still paying it.
It's not, and that's not, it's not that simplistic in my town, which I am deeply involved in.
Yeah, and property
I'm the
taxes only
person
go
that
to the
reads,
local government.
yeah,
That's
I
right.
read all this stuff. I go through, I remember when the, what we call Obamacare came through, it was like 1,500 pages. I'm the nerd that read through that and said, this is a massive tax. Instead
Yeah.
of listening to what everyone else told us, I read through that. I read through this stuff because I'm a nerd. And I just want to hear what this coming from a source, and how does this play out, and how does it actually affect me. And so I appreciate that idea, but in the town I live in, that's not how that actually works. And I'm not, I feel that it should just be an even playing field, and I wish it would be, if it's going to be like that, but it's
Yeah.
not everywhere like that.
So I
All
just
right,
wanted
I'm
to
going to
add.
play this
Wait,
one.
wait,
Oh,
wait. I
you go
guess
ahead.
been
Go
trying to say this
ahead.
for 10 minutes now. There's a larger agenda at play here, one that's above the, this whole thing with the government shutdown and this lead up to November 1st when food stamps are gone. The they've let it continue on this long to rile up the base. I think it's a giant loose harvest to some degree.
Interesting. Well, you
So
know what they're saying, like when we focus our attention somewhere, it gets really rigid and,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, right. And now today, the Democrats have come out and said they're filing a lawsuit to force the FDA to pay SNAP benefits or some shit, which I don't really know how that works, but I'm sure some federal judge will allow it to, and make them pay. But again, it's a buildup, a buildup, a buildup, and then this massive energy release,
Yeah.
this harvest,
And
which I
they're
know is
creating,
Nish's favorite word, harvest.
and they're creating a situation to make everyone, for the government to sweep in and say, we've got the answer, your phone is your real ID, and we're going to level this out and this will never happen again. And I don't know if anyone's aware that there's a singular bill, I can't remember what they call them, a CR something. There's a singular bill over in the big house, and it is just for the SNAP thing. It's just for the food benefits. There's nothing tagged onto it, and all that has to be done is approved by Democrats. Now remember, I don't play in the system, so I'm not coming from one end or another. I'm just saying, if they cared and if they weren't working for another something bigger, they could come together and fund the welfare food stamps for everyone, and
Yep.
this situation wouldn't be happening. But
They
they
don't
need,
want that. They don't
no, they
want
need
that.
the purge situation so they can come
Yeah.
in and say, we've got the solution. And
It's more than that. But go ahead. Go ahead.
well, and the thing is that this is, whether you're Democrat or not, this is actually in their hands, because there is a bill there that they could get this funded alone, nothing else. They don't have to, it
Sure.
has nothing to do with all the other stuff. It's just the singular one. And that's
They
the
could have opened up the government at any time over the last 30 days.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So these are things, people need to actually cast their gaze towards and look at, instead
Right.
of listening to this influencer and that influencer
Right.
and this opinion and that opinion. Just go to the straight source and see what's what.
They-
And that's where we get a little more clarity as to what is actually, being
Just
done to us.
put it in this perspective. The government's been shut down 27 days. They are on the verge of filing a lawsuit to force the government to spend money that they themselves are keeping shut down. It only takes 5 Democrats to open up the government, and they refuse. So you have to ask, why are they doing that? They're doing it to make this administration look bad. They're using it as a cudgel. They're using the American people as a human shield to get their point across that they don't like this administration. And that's what's really going on. They could care less about their constituents. They could care less about welfare. But if they can if they can bitch up a storm about it and make Trump look like a demon, they're all for it, regardless of the people they represent or the American people. And that's how it looks to me.
Well, I don't believe there's two parties anyways. I believe
No,
they all
no,
orchestrate everything. So
I
I
agree.
don't
I
I don't
agree.
even know. We
But
should
I mean,
actually play this video.
go ahead.
Let's go into this one. It's called John Lilly in the Earth Coincidence Control Office.
AKA Echo.
I predicted that within a decade or two that the human species would establish communication with another species, terrestrial, possibly extraterrestrial, but most probably marine. So we call it the physical isolation tank. Currently there is somebody inside this tank so that you can see what it's like. I think he was in here. Well, all I can say is I recommend that you get terror-stricken because it is the jet fuel which will carry you farther into the various states and farther out into the universes than anything else will.
That was not really the link I was looking for.
Are you looking for the most affordable
There's
way to add electric heating and cooling to your older home?
Sorry.
If that's the case, then you're going to want to take a look at
We don't want
There's
that
some-
commercial.
Did you get
There's
that? Sorry.
There's some great chats with John Lilly out there. And my favorite is where he's wearing like a Daniel Boone hat. But he was a genius in his day. And he's like, to me, the way Austin Osman Spare, I don't know, people
Mhm.
Was to the occult world of the last century. He's known, but he's not known. And there's some genius work behind him. In fact, I've got this book, I'm pulling it right over. The Center of the Cyclone is an autobiography of inner space, and it's absolutely genius. And then his work with the Lily Wave, that's him, the Lily Wave. And he is I think, one of the godfathers of where synchromysticism came from was John Lilly.
How have I never heard of this guy?
That's why I'm so shocked by it. He's he did.
I did jump timeline, so.
Well, yeah, you sure did. But there's a lot of people focused on his work with the dolphins, and there's some cringy stuff there. But I think we have to look at the totality of the work he did and what came of it, as far as what we could glean from the work he did. And he was involved in a lot of the LSD experiments and sensory deprivation, and he became very aware that Jerry, this was the stuff I think that was Tim Refrat is, I think, how I even learned about him. And
Okay.
he talks about the positive and the negative, and
the imaginary number space and all that.
Yes, and it's rather brilliant. So
I wonder what happened to that guy.
I know. I was thinking. I've mentioned him a couple times recently, and the last show I did with Emily, I think we were talking about him. And
He's got a new YouTube channel. Oh, look at this.
Are you serious? He's back from outer space.
3 hours ago, he did a stream.
Oh, that's Echo. That's Echo, or synchromysticism. How is it even possible? Like that? It's so ridiculously stupid that how it works, and so he's inspired that whole movement. And it's funny who knows of him and who doesn't. And most people just think about the dolphins, but his body of work is so much bigger.
I already sent you that link, Melissa.
I've got it right on the screen. Boo Boo
Okay.
has come to say hello to everybody. He's saying
But
happy Halloween.
this is back to the conversation we were having before the
Right. We'll play it.
the
Here.
welfare stuff. Yeah.
Here. This is the Dean Radin video that I was supposed to play.
One of the
A genetic sequence on chromosome 7 of DNA, which was the opposite of what we thought originally. We originally thought there's some special gene that makes people psychic superstars, and we'll find what that is. And so we got people who are psychic from psychic families and controls who are not psychic from non-psychic families, and did a standard case control study, which is what you do with genetics. So we found this difference between the two, but the difference was that it looks like most people who are, quote, average, normal average people, they have capacity for psychic ability. It's these other people, still a pretty large proportion of the population, we think, maybe 40%, we don't know exactly, who don't have this particular gene. And by not having it, their capacity for having these kinds of experiences is much, much lower than the average person. So this is kind of backwards, because we're basically saying it looks like everyone can have these experiences, except this group of maybe 40% who end up being extremely skeptical because it's not part of their experience and they don't know how to make it part of their experience. And so one of the people working with us is a specialist in sociogenetics, which was a discipline I didn't even know existed until he started working with us. And what it's about is looking at the genes of a population and how that orients a population towards certain kinds of beliefs and certain predilections. So he did this analysis and found a very strong correlation between and this is a negative correlation. We were originally saying, well, maybe the Druids have, that portion of northern Scotland or Ireland, maybe they have more psychic ability because they have legends about such things. We found the opposite. We found a place that has a deficit of people with psychic talent. And from a socioeconomic or a socio-historical perspective, it turns out to be Christianity. So we're thinking this is Holy Roman Empire plus or minus a couple of countries over time. There's a deficit of this particular genotype, basically.
So you mean the geographic birthplace of Christianity? You don't mean Christians around the world in general?
No, it's like the birthplace, and then high density is going to be near that birthplace.
Uh-huh.
So we're talking about probably Italy, Spain, a few countries around there, which are still heavily Catholic. There's a deficit of this gene, of this sequence. And so in thinking about that, we were trying to figure out, to get rid of a gene in a population, first of all, takes many generations, but also something has to happen. I mean, evolution does things because there's a need. The need could be that the environment changes, or it could be endless wars, it could be all kinds of things. In this case, all we could come up with as a speculation is the Inquisition.
Yeah, I was going to say that people were persecuted for displaying anything like this. They were accused of witchcraft and so on.
And so those genes were not passed along.
Interesting.
So that this is the speculation at this point, except that the correlation is pretty strong.
Interesting.
So we're bouncing back and forth, but John C. Lilly was kind of the inspiration behind the Cronenberg film Altered States.
Right.
I don't know if anyone saw that,
So-
but brilliant film.
Did anyone see that? What are you high?
Jerry,
It's like-
nowadays people don't even know. Like, I'm amazed at what people don't.
It's like the
Debbie
best
Harry,
Ken Russell movie ever made.
I
have not seen it, so you can
See what I'm
shame me
saying?
all you want.
I have it on VHS still. It's one of my top favorite films.
If you go and watch it, I'll just put out a warning here. It's cheesy.
Well,
Today it's cheesy, but it's the message behind it that's important.
Yes, it's cheesy, but I still prefer the cheesy of that period.
I agree.
So
To AI.
what is
My
in this
favorite line
video,
from
what
Altered States
is
is when he's talking about the Indians and their brown peyote goo or whatever the hell it was, and Mason, the one character Mason. Interesting that his name was Mason. He's telling Dr. Jessup, he's like, "Fuck the Hitchie Indians. We're gonna do it my way." Remember that?
Totally.
So,
Yeah, it's
in
good
this-
stuff.
in this video, like what he's saying, that the closer to the center of where something like was, like for instance, where Christianity was born, there's a different genetic for psychic ability. Is that what he's saying?
Saying there's a deficit there.
A deficit, so they're not psychic?
They're less psychic.
Interesting. I
So
wonder why.
if everyone
your
starts
theory?
out psychic, right? And then you take a portion of the population and kill them off, it's going to dilute that pool over time.
Right.
We're talking 2,000 years. I don't know what Crusades, 1,000 years.
Right.
Inquisition. I don't know what year the Inquisition was. 400s, 500. I really don't know. So I'm just saying, over those generations and generations, it will dilute. So you get a 40-60 mix. That's the way I understood it to be.
So why do you, it's because they're killing off people that have the gene for psychicness, or
Yes.
does it have to do with the location? Is it just because of how Christians operated and got rid of any opposition?
The Inquisition operated mostly in Catholic countries like Italy and Spain and France, that's where they focus their attention. And if you're a witch or a presumed witch, you were killed. Or if you demonstrated any paranormal ability whatsoever, you were executed.
So what does this say about Europeans in those
Well, this
areas?
was a king. If we're talking the right Inquisition, we're talking about King James when he came to power. That particular Inquisition, Jer?
Are we talking about the Spanish Inquisition?
Well, all of them.
Well,
All of them.
there's a couple of periods of Inquisition and hold on.
Because you'd wonder, okay, so what they're doing right now in Gaza and Jerusalem, I mean, there's obviously something powerful to certain people about being close to certain areas where Christ was born and all this religious stuff. They all the three Abrahamic religions view this area as so important, but it's actually probably not that magical in reality with all the violence and terror that's gone on there. Although I had a guest on once who told me that she spent time in Turkey and she's told me the energy was crazy. Like dark, like in the streets. She's like, I've never felt anything like it.
Yeah, go to Mecca sometime. Tell me how it feels.
I think I will I will pass on that offer.
Circle that black cube for a little bit and see how negative that feels.
I would think that would be mindless. But that's
Well,
my
there's
opinion.
like in
Depends on what you
like
believe.
ecstatic religious experiences, that kind of repetition creates it.
Sure,
It's like
sure,
with
sure.
Sufi dancing and all that, which I
Yeah.
love and have
Whirling
done.
dervishes.
Yeah, all that creates an ecstasis that can induce
Creates an
what we-
energetic vortex.
yeah, and that creates this religious experience, or however you want to view it, but it does get you into that otherness state and known as ecstasis.
Yep.
And it's magical. So, and then the more people, as I discovered Sufi dancing, the more people involved, the more intense it can be. And I don't know, there's a thing, there's a dynamic there for sure. And so that interview, not that you need to play it because that's 20, it's only a part though, but that particular interview is juicy that you have up right now.
I'll check that out.
Well,
You just reminded me
listening
of are you guys familiar with Dan Winter?
I'm not.
Ivy Winters. No.
Dan Winter. He's a physicist who is hell bent on understanding spirituality through physics. And
That's kind of in line with Dean Radin.
yeah, I would call Dean Radin more of a parapsychologist than
Okay.
a straight up physicist like Winter. But yes, their end goal is
similar.
But Dan Winter is more. He wants to. He believes he knows the scientific reason for consciousness and spirituality. And he's got a YouTube channel. He's got some really interesting interviews. I'll try and find one and send it to you, Melissa. But anyway, he talks about the vortex and this twirling and how you can. He says you squirt out of your head. You go out of body. You squirt out of the top of your head. That kind of stuff. He talks about all the time.
When I was 5,
it can be achieved with frequencies.
Thank you, Melissa.
When I was 5, I was spinning. No, when I was 5, I fell over a 2-story building and it threw me out of my body. I had the craziest OBE. I didn't even know what it was at that age. It was when I was older. I was like, oh, I had an out of body experience.
Were you?
I wasn't twirling. I fell.
Did you fall like through the ground?
Yeah, I fell from 2 stories, like really high building, 3-story building.
When your body hit the ground though, because I had a big fall too when I was about that age.
I hit
it was
pavement.
Like the ground came up to me and I continued to go down.
Yeah, I hit the pavement and I could see above me and another view, and then from my body, I could still see from my body, but I could see everything in a bird's eye view, and then I could hear the little girl that was with me running up the stairs, screaming her lungs out, freaking out. I could hear her thoughts and her panic, and then I came back into my body when I saw my mom from a bird's eye view running out the door screaming like a lunatic, I was like, oh no, this is serious. I better go back in. I don't even think I thought I better go back in. I just thought, oh no, this is bad. And I think my body pulled me back in.
Yeah, I just popped back in. But what
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say is, so children, a lot of times, they just spin. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about that when I was Sufi dancing one time. This is so long ago, but because I always loved spinning, and I wouldn't get, I'd spin till I wish I could do this now, but till I get dizzy and fall over. And I love spinning so much so that I really focused on that when I was a dancer, and using the Sanskrit uh, mudras basically, and then I encountered Sufi dancing, which took it to a different level. Now I didn't do the dervish. I did the dervish stuff naturally on my own, but when I encountered it through Sufi dancing and large Sufi dancing in Kansas City, I was introduced to this idea. Like I was able to talk to people that were talking this language, and it became something very sacred and magical. And this is the part of the Muslim world I love. I will say that. But you do get into an experience. I don't know if it releases a DMT in your brain. I don't know the chemistry here, but something happens. Something magical happens. And I only know it as ecstasis, but it is true. And you get outside of yourself. You step out. And this is where the lexicon of language for me falls short, trying to describe these things.
I do remember liking to spin around a lot when I was little. I just
Yes.
didn't I don't know if I considered it a spiritual thing. I just was like, woo.
No, as little kids, you don't. It's just natural, and that's exactly what I'm saying. I think we naturally do it, and I've seen so many little kids just spinning around like I did. I would spin around till I'd fall, and nobody was telling me, "Oh, this is a practice," or, "This is something magical." It's just kids being kids, and that's how. Again, until later, when I was doing it in a more controlled environment, I was informed that this is something magical. This is a way to access other layers of consciousness. And that was my go to, like, oh, little kids naturally do this. I naturally did this. I didn't need anyone to tell me that I was having some sort of otherworldly experience because I just enjoyed it. Jerry, or whoever pulled that up, I
I
love
did.
the,
There's a reason these aren't around anymore.
they're amazing, and that was my favorite thing at the playground. Always.
If you survive this as Gen X, I mean, come on now. I remember I had this uncle. He was through marriage. He had schizophrenia. And we went to the park one day and he got crazy and he was spinning it like he was this big, muscly guy and he was spinning us. And I just went, woo, right off of it, went flying and crumpled up on the side. And I was not too impressed by that one.
I had great grip. I was always someone I had such great grip
This
that
guy was like Psycho He-Man. Like he was whipping it, man. He was whipping
I
it.
was,
It was crazy.
nobody ever got me off of them, and I wanted to go faster and faster and faster. But see, I intertwined my legs. I got my legs intertwined and my body all contorted so that I could go as fast as possible. And do y'all remember at like the amusement parks, those things the silos that would spin you on the inside and the floor would drop out?
Yeah, yep,
My,
the rotor.
whatever that is, that was a favorite too. And I now understand, of course, with all this, that I loved that it got me out of my body, basically.
Yeah. So Jared gave his answer, but I'll pop this up for you, Niish. Mike is asking, what do you guys think about Robert Moreau and the gateway method for OBEs? If you have opinion.
I don't have a very favorable opinion of Monroe.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
we're talking about programs and very shady practices.
Yes.
And I went through that whole gateway thing, and I Actually, I sang his praises at one time, and then when I got a good clearance from it, I started to see it differently, and now I see it way differently because now all the white papers are out on
Yep.
it.
Yep. Me too. Yeah. It was. I always thought it was very cool and mind expanding in a way,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you will. But now I view it like the same as I would view doing DMT or ayahuasca or something. You are connecting your energy to a realm of something that you don't understand.
talk about
And
loosh.
yeah, exactly. You're making a conduit between you and this other thing. Whether or not it's part of the collective consciousness or not, you don't know what it is, and it's probably not safe in the long term. It's kind of how I
Yes,
feel about it.
100% eight alphabet, and it was not what it was said to be, and the white papers that are out now that you can just go get and look at have exposed that. So yeah, I have nothing good to say. But did it help me at one point in that whole hemisync thing? I do feel that I feel like I did get something out of it, but I have such a distaste at this point for it. And I just am so tired. And this is what we were talking about earlier. I'm so tired of everyone using us, being used. Everything has a tether. And all these agencies, whether they're religious based or not, I mean, how can we trust anything at this point? And that is not being jaded. That's just looking at the reality of the realm.
Honestly, this might sound really crazy, but I get my connection to other things by doing mundane stuff like housework and where I don't know. I just that's why I like to move my body and do housework and mundane stuff because that's when it will happen for me. And
And that's because everybody has this degree of psychic ability. This people call it the zone. You're in the zone, and when you are not
mhm,
paying attention the most is when it
yeah.
happens.
I mean, it can happen when not doing that, but I
Sure.
feel like everybody wants they're like, "Oh, we gotta get this, we gotta buy this." I'm like, "Just go fold your towels for a while. Trust
Yeah.
me."
Yeah, but you're in a state. What I'm trying to say is though is whether you realize it or not, you are in a state of meditation.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah.
You can make, so many practices in your life
Hmm.
into that into
Yeah.
that
This is
state.
why I love doing the dishes. It's like my little. I'm not kidding.
It's
It's,
and there's good science behind this,
yeah.
neuroscience behind
Yeah.
all this, and which is one of the sciences I don't feel cringy saying. Like when you hear the word science, I kind of
Yeah.
cringe. But
Scientism.
neuroscience is pretty exciting. Uh, Monotonous stuff can allow your brain to calm down, and you can access the magical. You can access different states of being lucid. And for me, I don't even need that because I was always a daydreamer kid, right? You're called the
Mhm.
daydreamer. The ones that are
Yep.
in class looking out the window, getting in trouble for that. I just naturally
Hmm.
get into that state, that lounging too long. I'm thinking, I'm out of body, I'm processing. Big things are happening for me in those states where people think you're just being lazy. I'm actually interacting with the realm at a whole different level, or whatever with echo or the simulacra or wherever the hell my body is non-locally, whatever, however you want to look at it. I get into those states naturally, and I do think there's a predilection of, I don't know if that's the right word. I think that there's a good section of people that tend to be more introverted, where it's easier for them to get into those states through
Mhm.
um, whatever means than extroverts. And I'm it's not a challenge, and I'm just saying it seems like extroverts try harder or use, I don't know.
Drugs.
Well, no, everyone does, and I think there's a good deal of introverts that get caught up in drugs, but uh, it just seems like the extroversion thing is, where you get your energy from people outside.
Yes. Like,
I think extroverts can be out having those experiences in big public spaces, talking to people and all that. I don't know because I'm not one, so I'm just going off of
my
what I've been
ex-husband,
told.
was an extreme extrovert, and what I always witness is he was so uncomfortable with quiet and that kind of stuff that he had to be around people because he had to take other people's energy and to feel like he existed almost. Whereas I felt like I existed regardless.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's I don't think it's fair to make blanket statements or absolutes about anything because we're all
Hmm.
kind of have a different functionality, and that is something to be explored and definitely not fried over, like
Yeah.
ostracized over. And for people like me that was a daydreamer, I was constantly in trouble for that. I was not out doing and being productive in outward ways, and so it's like this is abnormal. This child is too inward. This child, it wasn't shy. I've never been shy. I've definitely never been shy. But I just don't prefer others. And
Yeah.
I don't prefer being in groups. I like one-on-one. So this is why I like doing shows, talking with people and not being just a talking head. Um,
Hmm.
I like a band, being a part of the band,
Yeah.
and that's just kind of where I float. But everyone's
Yeah.
different.
Well, I like having guests on and I like people to talk to, but I also like to structure things like an essay. I 100% will do shows where I structure it like an essay and then mix that up with people because I like both.
And I appreciate that. And see, I appreciate very structured people, especially when I'm trying to learn something. I really, really appreciate that. And shout out to all the Virgo people out there.
The Virgo? Oh, I'm like a double Aries, so I don't know where I got that from. I just there's a part of me that likes to have a lot of like information content, and then there's part of me that's like, you know what? I don't want to. I don't feel like doing that right now. I would like to have a bunch of guests on, and I want a volley energy.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. And see, for me, as a viewer and listener, I don't have a problem listening to talking heads, like a single person up talking and lecturing, or in monologues and all that. I love it, and when I want to hear someone, I want to hear them. But just as a person on this side of it, you just don't see me going out and doing. I don't do that. I don't get in front of the mic and just go off. I don't do it. I'm not comfortable with it. It's really truly not my nature. And when I do live
Um,
streams, I really rely on people to call
yeah.
in or join in.
So
Otherwise,
it's
it'll be a very short live stream.
I would just say it's difficult. Like I'm not very good at just winging it. I can, but I usually have like segmented stuff where I'm like, "Hey, we're going to do this." And that's why I like you guys showing up on the live streams too in chat because it also then feels like I got some people, they're putting some ideas in there and I can pop them up, so I'm still giving a little bit of that.
Yeah, and see, I mean, even like look at how Jerry and I have done over the years. A lot of times, I'm the one carrying on at Jerry's handling the chat, and can barely get a word in, but I'm with Jerry, and and so it makes it easier for me. Like it's not that I need Jerry; it's that I like having a Jerry, and so or coming like doing this. This is one of the only shows I say yes to, because I enjoy this. This is a pleasurable experience, no matter what we're getting on about. It seems like we could be having drinks or sitting down and having some, brie and baguette or whatever the hell your thing is.
Fig jam on toast.
Ooh, I love figgy jam. Yum yum yum.
This is
So
good.
this and so what we're looking at is a spectrum of people, the spectrum of interaction in the world and how we interact with the world. The world to me is a very kind of sentient thing. The concept of the world is more like a being, like an entity. It's like the wind almost. And it's a simulacra, I suppose, on that level. And the way we get on with it is a beautiful process. And I don't know, I get so tired of this one way or another mentality and the absolutes and the
Yeah.
need to be right to so many people with their opinions that need to be right, and this is the period end all of that stuff. I just really steer clear of all that.
Well, it's interesting because when I was talking about on my lone podcast and presenting the whole how the religious eras changed. It seems like the more you get into monotheism, the more the more rigid we become because our ideas and thoughts become more rigid because we're in polytheism and even in the goddess kind of era of religion, they didn't look at it as left and right, heaven or hell, right or wrong. They spoke in metaphor and symbolism more, so they had this variety of thought that we just don't really have. And people think that they were basic and didn't have that variety, and it's just not true.
Right, and this is why I think it's important to. Does it feel like we're in a world that is so super judgy now and so super this is right, that's wrong, and the whole cancel culture thing and the overuse or misuse of words and language, that it's so exhausting to even try and be in it at times, for me at least, and I'm already an introvert.
Hmm. Well, it's weird because the internet obviously changed everything where it's now people trying to it's like people are trying to be as dramatic as possible for attention. Like everyone's escalating crazy behaviors. And I don't know, it's weird because we're not united
Are they
as
are they
a
are they
culture
escalating it
anymore.
though?
Everybody's united around like different things. It's like we're in our own worlds, but so we're
It's a
not really united as a
splintering.
culture.
They're
It's
splintering.
splintering, but we're
Mm.
kind of gathering around these streamers. Like, I mean, people are here with us, but I don't
Right,
know.
but
It's bizarre.
is it? I forgot what phrase you used before that, but I think this whatever's being expressed now has always been there, but just being kept under wraps, and now it's being let out more, or people are seeing it more.
We're putting it in the cloud.
Whatever it is, it's just people are more open to expressing their dark sides for
Yeah.
whatever
Oh, you mean our
reason.
shadow.
Yes,
Ooh, I like
yes,
that.
yeah.
The shadow realm of the internet.
People's shadows are overriding the you know the left brain. You can look at it that way. The right brain's overtaking the left brain, so the shadows getting in there.
Well,
I mean,
now
there's so
this
many ways to look at it. There's no one answer to anything.
Yeah.
It's never
it's
one
just
Yeah.
thing.
become so accessible, so anyone
Yes.
can get behind the mic or behind the camera and get online and say and do things, and that's great. It's great, but at the same time it's created like vacuums everywhere as well, because then we see all the cringy stuff, all these people that are kind of like semi-cult leaders and these influencers that are you know like border on cultish. And Melissa, I know you've covered a lot of this mentality and how this all works, and it's interesting to watch because what we are seeing is a different side to our culture and the collective culture altogether. Whatever little particulars we're talking about, this sect or that sect, we're seeing a different side to it, and where everyone has a voice. And hopefully, everyone will always be able to have a voice because I do believe in free speech. Um, it's interesting. It's most interesting. But what strikes me how I was talking about earlier, where people won't read a 1,500 page bill that's going to change their lives and get passed. They're going to listen
They
to,
can't understand it, and it's too much attention span.
and
Not-
they
They don't
I
have
swear
time either.
they're stupid that that's what actually happens anyway, that they
They
make
could
them
make
that
time.
big, they tag everything into
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
Everything should be a bill at a time, no matter what. Anyway, shouldn't be
Yeah.
tagging stuff on. It's so ridiculous. But I digress.
I want to.
That's a
I'm sorry.
tactic.
I want to address
Go
that
ahead.
comment that limit their ability to adapt through reduction of critical thinking. And I think that's mostly achieved by blasting people with so much information, whether or
Yep.
not this is intentional. Okay. It is a product of our technological reality today, that people are just getting so much information they can't focus on any one thing. They can't comprehend any one thing deeply enough to understand the complications of it, the complexities of it. And that leads to that lack of critical thinking, because they just have no focus to sit
Yeah.
down and actually think about one thing. Because, I mean, how many people sit down and watch a movie and don't touch their phone?
Not
Yeah,
too many.
exactly.
And the other thing is it's also there's
Good
so much
point.
information out there that you're not focusing on the truth, the real information, the facts of a case, because
Right. It's
they're
a
throwing all this stuff out there to make you go, "Oh my god, I don't know what's happening."
Right, but my point is, though, it's not a they doing it. It's just the nature of the reality we live in today.
Right. It's like,
And what if this is
yeah.
a training ground? What if what we're going through is us learning how to focus and navigate through the information overload to get to some better place, not, mentally. Just a thought.
It could be.
That is
It's like
true. That is
game
true.
theory again.
Well, yeah, game theory's got its truisms. There are good and bad things about it. The gamification of things is not a good thing, but game theory in and of itself is accurate. But that all comes down to dopamine.
I don't want to be in it. I don't know. If this is all not real, then I guess I don't have to worry. And I know who my higher self is, like, navigating me. He's like, don't talk that, but don't do that. Don't do that. And it's crazy. So I want to tie this up because I know you have another show to go to, Jer, and I really appreciate you guys coming in and talking
Yeah.
for so long. But Halloween is, what does it mean to you? Like, is this a magical time? Do you guys do anything special for it? Do you feel like it's a different time? There's a lot of people who feel that way. I feel that way. It's definitely different. It's one of my favorite seasons.
I don't. I know Nish does, but I don't at all.
Okay.
Well, I'm not really one to celebrate holidays like I used to be. I never was like all in. But what I do celebrate is the changing of tides and energies. So, we're deep into the waning year, and we're not deep into it, but we're getting deeper into it. We're halfway through, I think. And uh, I do have favorite seasons, and I do have favorite holidays. So I'm a lover of Easter for varied reasons, but I've always loved Samhain or Halloween. I love the idea of honoring the elders in the spirit world and those that have gone before us. I love
Mhm.
all the folklore around it from all over the world, and there's something that's always felt really magical. I in the past have really pulled up to the creepy factor. I've always been attracted to kind of that imagery,
Yeah.
um, and so I love all that too. So there's a myriad of reasons, but when I was more focused on um, doing seasonal works that were specific, like as far as a praxis, um, this was definitely one of my favorites because of all the crazy imagery you can invoke or evoke. And uh, I don't know, it's quite exciting. I love the goth feel of it that came down through the Victorian period.
Mhm.
And um, it feels like a time that if you are looking to find the other realm, this is that time.
Very
Like,
easy to access.
yeah, it very, very easy to do that kind of work. And so, do I do anything specific these days? No. I acknowledge that we're in this, and see, this is the thing, it's a whole season. So we're in Samhain until we get to Yule, right? So it's the whole season. It's not just a day, it's not just a switchover.
Yes, exactly.
And
Well,
that's the whole thing. And I love Yule because I love the lights, the festival. But another thing that I like about this season is how it can bring people together in the darkness, and
right.
it brings your loved ones together, and through the act of lighting a candle or lighting a fire in the stove and cooking wonderful hearty root, you know, meals with root herb vegetables and all that, it feels homey, and I'm a homey person. So, there's a lot of reasons why I love it, and in that way I participate and do things. I do seasonal things.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Pat Breeze. I relate. They say, I do my favorite ritual. I take my kids' candy. Sorry, Hayden James, for all of the Reese's peanut butter cups I've stolen from your bag over the many years, but I relate to that one.
I love that. And as a little kid, I really loved getting dressed up in those those cheesy ass outfits Gen X had, and the
The plastic
generation
masks.
before. All of it was so fun, and going trick or treating. And I'll never forget
Oh,
the year that trick or treating and Halloween took a dark turn because it was in the news that somebody was putting razor blades and stuff. Do we all remember that? I mean, it was like,
yes.
and then all of a sudden, the world was different, and you couldn't trust your candy in the bag.
Yes, it's true. But it's why I love handing out the candy to the kids because they're so sweet and they're so innocent and they just have so much fun, and I have fun watching them come to the door and telling them how great their costumes are and all that stuff. So I enjoy that part. But I relate to exactly what you just said about Halloween and seeing that half of my genetics come from the United Kingdom. It just feels like it kind of bonds me to that a little. It makes me remember that more because I'm in the new land, so to speak, in the new world. So I don't
Yeah,
know. I just appreciate that.
just the look of it. I mean, it's a if you're a person who's gothic inspired, this is definitely a feel. It's a vibe, as they say, and also the freedom, like any masquerade ball, you can, no matter what was going on in your life in since the Victorian period, you could kind of let, since they've been doing this, the Halloween as we know it here in the West world, um, you could be kind of anything you wanted. You could be openly a witch. You could be a ghoul. You could be a cartoon character. You could be a movie, whatever. You could get cheeky with it. You could be serious with it. And there's a freedom in that. That's why masquerades or carnivals and stuff like that have, it's a tension releaser. It's a point at which the collective can allow itself to freely express itself. And then it got weaponized.
Yeah, exactly. It's so very commercialized, right?
But not in a, in the full spectrum of commercialized, because
Mm-hmm.
it was commercialized for a long time, but it was functioning well. Now it is, um,
Overblown.
well, now it's like, now we're in danger territory. And so it
Yeah.
didn't used to be that, and now it is that. And we have, horror films that came up around it, Friday the 13th and Halloween and all this stuff that started to bring it back to some of actually the older variations of it, where you were leery of the fairy, and you should actually be leery of the fairies, in my opinion. But that's also my bloodline, like yours, and having so much Scottish, especially in me, that this was, and having that stuff kind of rolled in from very superstitious grandmother, and in these ways. you know, it was a situation. You know, you had the iron things hanging around, and if you're going out, you got the iron around your neck, you know, little key or something, and where the veil's thin. And then we have the great Isis. I am all that is, that was, that shall be, and nor has any mortal seen that which lies beyond my veil. But as we are in the dark season, approaching the darkest of the dark, the veil is thin because the light is less. And so it's easier to see through the mesh, the membrane that
Yeah.
separates us from there.
Perfectly well said. Well, I'm going to tie this up and let you guys go on your way. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, and I hope you have a wonderful Halloween season. Remember, Thursday night on this channel, come back, 9 p.m. Eastern. Walter Bosley is going to be here in Toddwood. We are going dark shadow style. And I love that TV show. It's one of my favorites, but
Me
we're going to
too.
go there.
I couldn't wait to see the it was on a rerun when I
Yeah.
was, and I just couldn't wait for each episode. Oh my god.
Yeah. And everybody out there, remember, you can go and subscribe for free over at my Substack at melissadonharris.substack.com. And don't forget to follow Niish at the Cosmic Salon and Jer over at his channel. The links are in the description, by the way. I stuck that in. And I'm just going to pop it off and close it out because I know you got to rush off.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so
I
much
can
for
be- I
coming.
can be
Thank
late.
you,
Don't worry about it.
everyone. Thank you,
Yeah.
chat out there.
Yep.
And
Thanks,
Jerry
chat.
and
Thanks,
Melissa.
everyone. Hopefully, I was going to ask Nish, maybe we can do our show next week if you want. Or do a show.
Jerry, you know, I'm always waiting around for you,
I know.
baby.
I'm ready to do it now.
Get on the run. Everybody's demanding you.
I know.
Call me.
I got all the. I will call you.
All right, guys.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
All right.
All right, that's our show for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining me on the live stream and watching afterwards and listening to the audio podcast. Remember, you can support the show by subscribing on the YouTube channel, giving it a thumbs up, putting some commentary in, sharing it, saving it to a playlist. And you can also support me by subscribing on melissadonharris.substack.com, either a free subscription or, even better, a paid subscription. I appreciate everything you do, and we will see you next time on The Velvet Bite.